All right. What up, y'all? It's your man Sam Ant here at Viral Hip Hop News. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that notification bell, and subscribe to the brand Viral Hip Hop News. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Let's get to work. But before we do, listen, we haven't done it in a while, and I want to get back to it. Artist Spotlight, exclusively here on Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, dlsmediainc1 at gmail.com. dlsmediainc1 at gmail.com. I'm going to stop my camera for a second so you guys can see it. Or the spotlight. It ain't show up how I wanted to. But anyway, dlsmediainc1 at gmail.com. If you are an artist, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have your own brand, music, whatever the case may be, and you want to spotlight it here, get some promotion, get some publicity, get your brand out there to people, email me, let you know how we can get that done. Exclusive interview with me, promote your brand, win-win all the way around. Email me for details. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Now let's get to work. All right, Diddy declined his plea deal yesterday, rejects the plea deal, is about to go to war with the feds. Trial is due to start on May the 5th. And here's what we got right now. Sean Diddy Combs on Thursday formally rejected the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged prison sentence. Yes, I do, Your Honor, Combs said after Judge Aaron Subramanian asked him whether he rejected the offer federal prosecutors made. Now, Combs is scheduled to stand trial beginning Monday with jury selections on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution that alleged he coerced women into prolonged sexual encounters he called, quote-unquote, freak-offs. Maureen Comey, an assistant United States attorney, said a guilty
says that the White House should be facilitating
Rodrigo
Garcia's return to the United States. And you heard President...
I didn't ask you to talk. Sorry about that. Damn ABC. Anyway, like I was saying, Maureen Comey, an assistant United States attorney, said a guilty plea would have reduced the amount of prison time Combs would be exposed to compared to a trial conviction on all counts, which could result in what effectively is a life sentence. Specific details on the plea deal were not yet released. Combs came to court in a beige jail uniform. He smiled at and hugged his attorneys and gave a fist bump to one of them, Tanny Gregas. I'm sorry if I'm saying these names wrong. Gregas raised concerns during their brief conference about statements LA-based attorney Lisa Bloom, who represent at least two of Combs' civil accusers, made about the case to a documentary. We're concerned with her behavior here, Gorgeous said. Subramanian said he would remind all counsel and witnesses to adhere to rules of professional conduct and court rules about potentially prejudicial statements that could infringe on Combs' right to a fair trial. That's bullshit. They've already infringed on that. There will be no free trial. Or fair trial, I should say. Anybody that walks in there already has their opinion and already has it locked in. But let's continue. Combs was arrested last year after being charged in a sprawling sex trafficking indictment originally filed in September and followed by multiple superseding indictments that accuses Combs of being the ringleader of a criminal enterprise that allowed him to sexually, physically, emotionally, and verbally abuse his victims for years. He has denied all allegation and has pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He pleaded not guilty in March to a superseding indictment that charged him with forcing one of his employees into sex acts. Jury selection in the trial is scheduled to begin May 5th, with opening statements planned May 12th. Federal prosecutors said that they have as many as 20 potential witnesses, aside from the three main alleged victims, who could testify about Combs' conduct. Combs faces decades in prison if convicted, but they pretty much told you if convicted, he's doing pretty much life in prison. Now, here's what we got right now. I want to throw this one up here first. The 5 federal charges in a superseding indictment filed, 5 federal charges in a superseding indictment filed on April 25th. The original charges are racketeering, conspiracy, alleging to have led criminal enterprise from 2004 to 24 involving sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Maximum penalty is life in prison. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, victim 1, accused of coercing women into commercial sex acts, maximum penalty, life in prison, mandatory minimum 15 years. Transportation to engage in prostitution, victim 1, accused of transporting individuals, include sex workers for prostitution, maximum penalty 10 years. Now, this was added as of May 2025. which was last month, a couple days ago. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Victim 2, alleging, coercion of another woman into commercial sex acts from 21 to 24. Maximum penalty, life in prison. Mandatory minimum, 15 years. Transportation to engage in prostitution. Victim 2, related to actions between 21 and 24. Maximum penalty, 10 years. Diddy pleaded not guilty to all charges again. Jury selection begins May 5th. The official trial starts May the 12th. Let me say this. If he were to cop a plea, he's basically copping admission to guilt. All right, I'm sorry. I did this. I did that. Give me this, and we good. But if he's claiming to be innocent, then what are we talking about here? He has to do this. He has to fight. But you see the charges. A lot of them carry a maximum of life. And if he were to be charged with any of them, not to mention more than one, like the lawyer alluded to, he's probably spending the rest of his life in prison. So this is about to be crazy. I don't think Diddy ever imagined in his right mind that he'd be caught up in this type of situation. But here we are. Here is reality, and it's crazy. It just started thunderstorming out. Crazy, raining? My bad. Got crazy out there. Anyway, my bad. This is real. This is very real right now. Serious. I don't think any of us ever thought it would get to this point, but here we are. Jury selection May 5th. Trial begins May 12th. This is going to be probably the biggest trial we've seen since OJ, to be perfectly honest with you, and we'll see what happens. But y'all leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think of this situation. We'll be covering it here on Viral Hip Hop News. To get with my cousin, we'll be doing the thing on the podcast. We'll keep y'all updated on it. Got a couple interviews lined up, so I'm very excited about that as well. Just trying to get the spark going back on this platform, man. Trying to get the spark going back in hip-hop and do it the right way. I've said it a million times. I don't like the direction where it's going. I don't like how content is distributed, how it's displayed. I don't like the levels that some of my cohorts are going to distribute content and give you entertainment as opposed to real entertaining and valuable information. And I just don't like the overall energy of it, man. But that being said, we're going to keep grinding and keep doing our mother effing thing. Follow me on Sam I and Viral. If you want to see what I'm doing outside of the hip-hop game, I'm doing a lot outside of the hip-hop game that I'm very proud of. And I would love to share it with y'all if y'all are interested in seeing it. So Sam I and Viral is where you can find that. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Until next time, until next story, we out of here, man. One love. Deuces.